Everything has to have your attention or keep your attention, captivating, right? Attention, finding interest, and being able to say, this is my target audience. I want these people to understand that we see them, we know them, we get them, because that is how you build a brand. That is how you build loyalty. That is how you build a business. That is how you build family, right? All of those things come into the interest and the attention span. If you ask me, that's my opinion.
Welcome back to the Moments That Matter podcast, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the pivotal moments of today's leaders. I'm your host, Jason Crepero, and today I have with me Ahmod Goins from G1 Productions. Ahmod, how are you today?
I am better than I deserve, man. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again for taking the time out. For those who are unfamiliar with you or G1 Productions, can you just give an overview of you, your background, what you guys do?
Sure. Yeah. So again, my name is Ahmod Goins, founder of G1 Productions, and we help service-based businesses, whether you're in the professional field, contractor development, or hospitality, or anybody that's selling a high-ticket service. We help you generate more leads predictably and consistency with our 3C content system. It's a mixture of organic content for social media and paid ads. It's literally a simple offer. And, we're proud to serve over 50 plus brands. And especially in the hospitality industry, that's where we started out at. So that's what we do. We generate you more leads, more bookings, the whole 9 yards with our organic content and paid ad system.
Awesome. Yeah. Some of the brands we learned yesterday we've got an overlap, a mutual customer. You've been able to, in a very short period of time, get some pretty big brands on board. What's been the secret to your success so far?
Ooh, man, consistency. Consistency and failing a lot. Learning that not everyone is your customer. Learning that you have to make sure you put yourself out there in a space where people know what you do and know what you're the expert at. And so the reason why I use those terms, consistency and success, failure, is because those have been the things that have been driving me forward to push the envelope, right? And so I've been able to work with these brands because they trust me. And I've been able to build that trust because of the relationships that we've acquired over the past 4 years. And so, yeah, that's been my secret to success, is consistency and failure at the same time.
I love that. And a lot of people don't embrace the failure. People think that little failures are ultimate failures. And it's like, we have to be failing regularly. If we're not failing enough, we're not trying enough. And I mean, I literally sat down the entire team, our team. We got about 15 full-time people, and I mean, it's probably a month ago. And at the end of an all team meeting, I was like, what's a big risk you can take in your department that you might fail at? Like, what's a big risk? Tell me. They're like, well, it'd be risky, on the sales side. If I booked a flight in a hotel to a big city and I just started knocking on hotel doors, or it would be pretty risky. And it's like, yeah, like, let's talk about risk. Let's talk about acceptable failure.
Yeah.
But a lot of people hide from it. And so I'm glad that you're embracing it and see it as a stepping stone to future success.
Man, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, this is how you actually progress forward. You know what I mean? Will Smith says success is on the other side of failure, right? It's like when you look at the things that you're doing and you look at the day-to-day operations and you look at, for us, the videos that we film and the system that we put in place and the strategy, it's just like, okay, everything is in testing, right? But you will never get to the place of where you see success if you don't have that thing that fails first. And so I like to believe failing forward is the best way to build a business. Failing forward is the best way to see if a piece of content actually works, right? If we're experimenting with a brand video or something like that. I mean, anytime you're investing money into something, you never want to hear that it would fail. But I think you and I both know that I've had ventures, and you've probably had ventures where it's like, man, this probably doesn't work. It's time for us to pivot. And I think that within itself, learning the art of pivoting when you do fail is not saying, man, I'm starting over. It's just I'm starting again. And I think that's where the success comes from, is on the other side of failure.
I love that, man. Sometimes we have clients and they're like, okay, so hey, like when we turn this thing live, it's going to be gangbusters. And I'm like, Maybe,
Maybe.
if it's the right presentation of the
Yeah.
element, right, and it's the right content, clipped or trimmed to the exact moment, right, of impact, and it's the right calls to action at the right moment in their journey, then yeah, it could. But a lot of the times, what we've ended up building was the tools to
Mm,
quickly iterate.
hmm.
So we keep a version history of any tweaks that they make. If you turn it from blue to green, or if you want it to bounce, shake, pop, pulse, whatever it is, right? And then you can trim it. And so what happens is we say, hey, we tried it for a week. This was successful. This one was less. Let's switch it. And then you
Yeah.
try it, and then you get to. So it's like a 30 little failures over a year to get to content that works
Yeah.
perfectly every single day.
Yeah. Even, when I think about investing, because right now we're in a period of scaling the business, and we know that we're gonna have to turn on our ads again. And so it's like, even when you think about testing ads, when you are trying to put a product or a service or an offering out, man, even investing is risky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like investing the time and the energy to create the content. You want to make sure your messaging is on point. You want to make sure your target audience, you know who they are. You want to make sure the story is there. You want to make sure those connecting points are there, because when you are investing that time, that effort, and that money, like it's all risky, right? We're all trying to push forward an offer that our customers can't deny. We're trying to put this story in front of people that we believe that they will resonate with and connect with, and ultimately book our experience. And so, but it's still risky at the end of the day. And it's like, are you willing to just sit there and guess, or are you going to be willing to take the risk, take the jump to invest in your business, yourself, whatever that might be, your content, and see it through to the other side?
Couldn't agree more. There's a term that has emerged in the last 2 years that we use quite a bit called adjacent possible.
Mm,
And it's only through taking the first step and then maybe two steps beyond that. Now you are further ahead in your experiences, right? Things have passed you. So now, once you run those first set of ads, adjacent possible, now you look left and right and you go, okay, this ad didn't perform, but this piece of data is pretty interesting. Maybe if we do this, but it was only possible after you took the first step.
for sure.
Now it's adjacent possible now. And we find that all the time. We'll put something out, we'll put out a new feature. We think it's going to go gangbusters. A handful of people use it. But what's interesting is the way they use it
Hmm.
is something we didn't anticipate. So we go, well, now that we're here, couldn't we also just do this?
Mm.
And it would have never been adjacent possible had we not taken that first step.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's very powerful and very impactful. It's actually the first time I've actually heard that in that context. I've heard the wording, but I think that's super important, because once you take that step, you're actually able to see down the line how you can project what the future may look like. You know exactly what customers are responding to,
Yeah.
what they like, what they connect with, and that's why we do it, right? We want to be a customer centric brand who only focuses on how our customers are being served, right? And so that's for the clients that we serve, and that's for their clients. You know what I mean? So adjacent possible, that's
Yeah.
very powerful, bro. Yeah.
I think in a different life, I worked for Nike because the amount of times in a week I say, just do it.
Oh my God.
Uh, like
Oh my
my
God.
brother, he's an architect down in Austin, and he's like, he had a really good job at a great architecture firm. He's like,
Mhm.
I think I can go out on my own. Like, I think I have the skill set. I go, just do it. Just do it. Like,
Wow.
what? Because you're going to find out doing that, some other things are also possible. You're
Come
going to
on.
find out more about you, more about clients, more about architecture. My aunt recently, she's a nurse practitioner down in Columbia, South Carolina. Sorry,
Okay.
Greenville, South Carolina. And she made good money, was running a whole clinic. She's like, I really want to go into this wellness. I don't know. Should I make the leap? And she was kind of, on, I said, just do it. Just do it.
Mm,
She did it.
mm,
She's got her
mm.
first handful of clients. She's on her way. Like
Come on.
when I owned, we built actually a Sonic drive-in from the ground up, and I was the managing partner at it when I was 21.
Wow.
And I was out down at the local Walmart because this was one of the first Sonic drive-ins that had an indoor facility. Normally you just pull into the stalls, push the button, and this was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So I was going to get some TVs to put in the dining room. And
Yeah.
I'm just down at the local Walmart, and I had my Sonic shirt on, and this lady comes up and she goes, hey, are you working at that new Sonic? I said, yeah, we're going to be opened, August 1st or something. And
Yeah.
she says, are you one of the managers there? I go, yeah, I'm going to be an owner operator there. And she goes, wow, what does it take to own a Sonic drive-in at how old are you? And I said 21. She goes, and my answer was, whatever it takes.
Whatever
Like,
it takes.
what does
Wow.
it take? It takes whatever it takes. Like what I've had to do, crawling in the ceilings at 2 a.m, insulation, and
Yeah.
rewiring things, and power washing my lot and making sure customers were taken care of. But then she took it further, and she was probably 40 at the time. And this was at a time when eBay was really hot. Like everybody was just trying to sell stuff,
Yeah.
figurines, and she's like, I really have this. I have this business idea where I could just sell things that I find at garage sales, like on eBay.
Yeah.
And I go, you got an internet connection? She goes, yeah. You got a camera? She's
Yeah.
like, yeah. I go, just do it.
Uh,
Well, I don't understand. Like, why can't you
why
just
can't
do
you?
it? Just do it. So I say that to people all the time. You want to quit your job? Just do it. You're going to be happier.
Uh,
Just do it.
just get it out the way. Just go ahead and do
I
it.
know.
You got the feeling already. It's funny you say that because as we mentioned on the call yesterday, I told you what my mantra was, and I want to share this with your audience because I think this is
Yeah.
very important. It might be simple for some, but it was impactful for me. Back in 2019, when I was working insurance, I used to do these motivational videos all the time, and I was sitting at my insurance desk knowing that the creative in me just wanted to create, right? And so I wasn't writing any policies at that time. I think I was doing like a little bit of work, but my agent, he'd come in the office, and after I finished writing the policy, I'd edit a motivational video, right? I'd be doing like a workout that morning, and I'd edit that, and I'd have just this motivation, and this mantra jumped on me like I don't know, it was like just almost just grabbed me while I was talking, and it just said action only.
Mm,
Action only. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? And I've been able to take that mantra and apply that to my life as to it's been another ingredient to my success because if you don't take action over the things that you actually want to do or the things you say you want to do, right? If you don't take that step, if you don't make that change, nothing changes, right? And so
yeah.
that's been my just do it. My action only. That's my mantra. It's been able to push me to, reach out to these major brands, and even when I get the no,
Yeah.
even when they don't respond to the email the first and second, third time, even when they don't pick up the phone, even when I don't connect with the people, I still realize that, not only am I building a lifestyle for me and my family, I'm building a business for myself, but I'm also building a life that I don't want to have to escape from. And so for
Hmm.
me, it's being
Yeah.
able to apply and take action every single day. When I wake up, I don't probably feel like editing, or I don't probably feel like making that email or that phone call, or working on that back end system. But every day with intention. I approach every day with intention. It's not the easiest. I don't get it all right, but I wake up every day with that mantra, man. Action only, because nothing
Love it.
changes if nothing changes.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. And the emphasis on action, like a lot of times employees, even myself, you can wake up on a Monday and you can go through an entire week
Mm,
and not achieve a goal.
mm,
And so, at Hover, Monday mornings, we talk the leadership team. It's like, what are the big three things that if you achieve this week could have the greatest impact to move our company forward? If you
mm,
achieve those things, just write them down. And we all put them in the
mm.
leadership channel. What are the three things, if true, if you did them by the end of the week, could have moved the company forward and your highest level of contribution? And then underneath those goals, what are the, like you're saying, what are the action items? Maybe it's one thing I need to do. Do I need to have a conversation that's difficult? Do I need to actually crank out some work? Like, what are your four big action items?
Yeah,
And then you have the whole blueprint for the week. Well, I
yeah,
have to do these activities and they're going to lead me to this outcome. So many people, though, they wake up, they start responding to stuff that's coming in, and you're on the defensive rather than saying, here's what I'm going to do to move the company forward. And the really cool thing is if you find yourself in a meeting or thinking about or churning out work that has nothing to do with those goals, get
yeah.
out. Like get
Get
out.
out. Go. Leave.
Absolutely. And
It's
man, it's that focus that has
absolutely.
really propelled us forward, I think.
I'm reading a book now. Thank you for sharing that, bro. That's really
Mhm.
inspirational. Thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned goals in that statement. I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits. Amazing book, and I think you should read it when you get a second. But one of the outstanding lines or the outstanding quotes in this book is, "You don't fall to the level of your goals, you rise to the level of your systems."
Mm.
And what that said to me when I read that, is that yes, I see this goal I can reach, like you said. What are the actions and the steps within the system? Like, what habits are we creating
Mm,
around that goal? So if I get up in the morning, which sometimes I fail at it, I check my phone. First thing I'm doing is go to social because I know I got messages from the night before.
right.
But that's not really serving my end goal. I what I need to be doing is getting up, doing my morning routine, and then setting a time in my system, in my actionable steps to say I'm going to take an hour and reach out to this property, this hotel, this company, this brand, because this is what's going to help me move the needle forward, pushing people into my pipeline, continuing to build those relationships and build that rapport, not commenting and sending a message back on IG from people that just responded to my story. And so I say that because when I think about actions, I think about habits. I think about decisions. I think about what your system, what your routine is. Those things are important to me. So you don't rise, you don't fall to the level of your you don't fall to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of your systems.
Yeah, and there's like a moment of peace within this as well that happens like when you know that nobody's getting into your schedule this week.
Mm,
Like
mm,
I'm too focused to allow a distraction.
mm,
And there was this time I'll mention this guy by name because he's such an incredible person from everything I've seen, and I got to spend about an hour with him eventually. But there was a CMO, Robin Daniels, at Matterport, and when we were first coming up with the technology, it wasn't initially for hospitality, so we were looking
mm,
at different ways where the technology could be leveraged. So I had a contact. I got reached out to him, and he had been very successful everywhere he's gone and continues to. Everything he touches turns to gold. And for me, I wasn't at that level yet of protecting my peace. So when I outreach to him, he replies, "Thanks a lot for the message, Jason. This looks exciting. I'm heads down on some other projects right now. I'll message you in Q3." We're in Q1. And I don't know if we're going to have enough money to get it to get to Q3, right?
yeah,
But I was like, Q3?
it's a
Like
long
what
ways away.
what in the world? And now when people message me, and it's not just modeled after that, I truly, some people internally or externally, I'll have to look at what I need to accomplish and say, I think this would be a good time for me to be receptive, to me to act.
Mm,
I wasn't in a good place to hear this or have this conversation. And as it turned out, in Q3, he got back to me just like
wow,
he said he did
wow,
after they IPO'd, I believe,
wow.
which was pretty wild. Either IPO'd or sold the company, and he led them to that. So of course he's not letting someone he doesn't know get on his calendar, eat up an
Yeah,
hour of his time. And then he was more than gracious, had the conversation, gave me some pointers and whatnot. But it's setting those goals, keeping that focus, and then not allowing people to bombard your schedule.
man. Can I be open for a second, honest and
Absolutely.
transparent? Man, so I was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, but was never medicated for it. And I feel like it's been the very pain of my existence in a way, but it's also been the very super power of my existence as well, because I do get easily distracted
Mm,
sometimes. I'm not a shiny object person. I'm okay with delayed gratification,
mm,
but a lot of little things tend to take my time and attention away. And so you saying that and the guy said I get back to you in Q3 really puts in front of me, how I've had to be more intentional with my time, with my scheduling, with my content, saying, I know I can't go to this networking event because I have a 4 hour block today
mm.
to speak to my audience through my content.
Yeah.
I have a 4 hour block today to create my show reel for a show that I'm going to, or an event that I'm going to. So it's important to be stingy and be rude and be relentless with the time that you make for yourself, because if we don't, bro, everything else will get in the way. And I
Hmm.
know for me, I'm easily distracted, so I have to be intentional about that. Because my day would just be it'll leave me. It'll leave me if I'm not intentional about that time.
You know, there's the other side of that, which is pretty toxic as well, which is, and I've suffered from this. I want generally to help people. So there was a
Mm,
time like maybe 3 years ago where I would say yes to almost anything. And can you help me out with this? Yeah, I'll do that. Can you speak at this thing? Hey, I have this networking event. Would you like to be my plus one? And what happens, and I only know this from experience,
Yeah.
everybody is disappointed.
Oh
Like
my God.
everybody is disappointed. You
Yeah.
show up late to that function. What's going on with you? Right. It's like, I made it here. Right.
Oh
You
my
don't know
God.
what I just came from, but I made it here.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not at home. Like, wow, you're always out. Like every night of the week, you got some thing going on. You're not here for the kids or, the kids like, hey, dad, you're leaving again. And, the work, like, hey, guys, I got to wrap this up. I got to head out to this thing. And it's like, that's no way to live either.
No way to live,
So
man.
I've had to be very intentional about, and there's sometimes you can't be self-serving. Like, am I going to get something out of this event? Yes or no? Like I'll
Mm,
go. But, even I was invited to a very specific event. And my first thought was now after kind of training, can I be of assistance to these people?
wow.
Can I actually add value? If I can, then it's like, could I make it happen? What else would I be pushing off? How difficult would things be commuting? Maybe I could make it on a Zoom, but saying yes to a lot of things, man, I just got into a really bad spot where at the end of like a 2 month span, I was just like, everybody's mad at me. Like
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
in my pursuit to make everybody happy. Nobody's happy.
Oh, that's wow. Man,
Yeah.
that is so good.
Oh,
Oh
so
man.
bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so for me, I resonate with that, right?
hmm
Because I just literally made a piece of content the other day, and I'm gonna release it at some point this week. But I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm a recovering or a reformed people pleaser.
Mm,
Well, it sounds like you are too, maybe. Uh,
absolutely.
I I spent half of my life helping, coaching, teaching. I mean, and without even realizing it, everything like you said was a yes. And I've lost opportunities because of giving a yes to things that I knew I shouldn't have, or I've lost you know quality time, precious moments because of not understanding, not necessarily how to balance, but how to be intentional with each section of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Each place in my life. And so what I've adopted is now at this point, my yes is very expensive.
Mm,
And I
mm.
choose I choose what to give my yes to. So today, when this podcast came on my table, I said, you know what? No, this is a yes, first and foremost, because it's my very first podcast invite. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But but secondly, it's just like, no, this is beneficial for me because I wanna coach. I wanna speak. I wanna do a TEDx, right? That's my goal. Like, so why not come on a platform such as you all's and talk about moments that actually matter, and these are the moments that matter when you understand that you can't give your yes to everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I used to say it was joking, but it was also true. I'd be like, well, hey, I got invited to this thing. Jesus went everywhere he was invited, so why shouldn't I? And
Yeah.
but that comes at a cost. And I was talking to another guy here in the community, who had a very successful exit,
Hmm.
then went into venture capital as well. And I said, we're just talking. I said, hey, are you going to that event on Friday for such and such? Before I even finished,
Mm.
he said, no. I go, you didn't know, you didn't hear what event specifically I was talking about. He goes, yeah, no, I'm not going to any event at night. He goes, the place that I can make the biggest impact in the evening is with my family. Can you even imagine? I was like, wow, that's pretty deep, man.
It is deep. It is deep, man. I have a family.
I
I
mean,
know
I
you
still
do.
go and prioritize. There sometimes I go, but that really struck me. He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all. And I think like I said, everything with intention. If you are intentional about that time, well, I say this. Let me rewind. We have to have non-negotiables as business owners, CEOs, founders, people who are running a business, and people that are depending on us.
Mhm.
There has to be non-negotiables in our life. That time where that season for me with kids that are in sports, because I chose to have this lifestyle, I'm deciding to make the games, right? I'm deciding to make the movie night. I'm deciding to put the phone down, right? Because this right here oh gosh, for me it could be crazy, distracting, email, text message notifications. So it's like I'm intentional at dinner time to say, hey, when we're eating together, when we all at a table, not in our rooms, when we're eating together, these things are going in the middle of the table or they're going in another room. And we're gonna be intentional about that time and that connection, you know. And I think that it's the same thing with business. When you are serving people, when you have a team, you know, we're dialed in, we're focused on the goal at hand, the task at hand. No, we can't go and do this. No, we can't, you know, put our time into these things because we have to focus on what we're looking to accomplish and everything with intention, man. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but yeah, literally.
It's it's crazy because attention has been not intention, but attention has become one of the most important things you could give to someone. When
Mm-hmm.
when when you have 100% of someone's attention,
Mm-hmm.
you feel like the most important person in the world.
Mm,
To children, that's especially true.
mm.
And when you're sidetracked and you're looking over here and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, tell me that. And then what happened? Oh, hold on, I gotta like you can tell. I feel there's been two people in particular for me. There was a council member in San Diego. So I used to help run a national nonprofit in San Diego. We helped inner city kids get their first jobs out at stadiums. So they did vending and concessions work. And
Nice.
then since they had jobs, they were earning money. We only 33% of people in poverty were banked. So we set them up with bank accounts, financial literacy. We did asset building and then all the college services. And we went to apply for a CDBG grant, a community development block grant. So here I am presenting to the city council with some of my kids with me. These are youth, probably 16 to 18. And every council member was there, like passing papers and talking to their staff while I'm talking. And there's
Mm.
one guy that then became mayor who's locked in. I understand. Okay. And can we also hear from this young lady here? And I mean just the attention he gave attention. We felt heard. Isn't that what people want to feel heard, right?
Yes.
They want to feel understood. And so, man, I'll never forget that. That and one of our investors just gets dialed in anytime, even if we're going for 2 hours, just so focused
Mhm.
on what we're saying. We'll comment, we'll ask critical questions. You know they're paying attention. And it's become odd. It's become
Mm.
I'll just not odd, but like an outlier. When
Yeah.
someone is locked in and gives you 100% attention, you're like, this is great. Like human connection once again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think that for us, when I'm thinking about what my goals are and the lifestyle that I want to have, that I want to create, um, f- I think Myron Golden said it like this, and I don't want to mess his line up, but he's basically just saying like, put your intention on the things that you focus on.
Mm,
You know, set your intentions on the things that you actually know are going to move the needle. And I say that a lot in my business. Like, what's going to move the needle today? Because obviously tomorrow is only planned, but I only have today right now that I can walk in that purpose. And it's just like, how do I set my intentions on the things that I'm really focused on that's going to move the needle? And you said it, attention in this day and age. I like to believe that social media has now moved from being social to being more interest media. Gary V says that, right? We're in an interest media. We're in an attention marketing uh, uh, culture, if you will, where now everything has to have your attention or keep your attention. You know, we call our 3C method, 3C system, 3C content system, captivate, connect, and convert.
hmm
Right. That's part of our method. That's what we offer to our clients, the system that we built. And captivating, right? Attention, finding interest, being able to like really lock in and being able to say, this is my target audience. I want these people to understand that we see them, we know them, we get them. Because that is how you build a brand. That is how you build loyalty. That is how you build a business. That is how you build family, right?
hmm
All of those things come into the interest and the attention span. If you ask me, that's my opinion.
Well, I love how you said that, and I love that the third C is convert. So
Mhm.
there's, I go around and I'll talk anywhere. Someone will give me a microphone.
Mm.
I'll talk about content, and there's four main reasons our purpose is that any content that's ever been out, surfaced, any content, paper, print, like whatever, video has ever been produced, right? To entertain,
Yeah.
certainly Netflix, right? You got content, great content.
Yeah.
Um, to inform, right, or educate, to inspire, and then to convert. So educate, inform, inspire, and to convert. And a lot of times, like 90% of all the world's content is currently being used for entertainment. It's
Mm,
disconnected. So like when you're scrolling through just endless Instagram, like it's entertaining. And then the entertainment might bleed over to inspiration or might bleed over to education, but it's certainly not converting right there.
correct.
And so we're always, I love how it's the convert. You have to have that content work toward an end goal, which
Yeah.
hopefully is action, right?
Yeah.
Converting or booking. So on that note of this, right? I was on your Instagram as well, G_1 Productions, right?
Thank you, sir. Yep.
Awesome page, man. You've got some really engaging, entertaining clients. So I would ask anyone to go check that out on Instagram. It's G_1 Productions. But how do you come up with content? How do you think about it? Do you have? I know a lot of people, they have a schedule, a month out, 2 months out, or themes. How do you approach first your own content that you put out, probably for lead generation and entertainment, education,
Yeah.
but then also when you do this for other clients, what's your
Yeah.
angle?
Yeah. So first and foremost, for me, I have to always look at what's the goal here, right? Our mantra here at G1 Productions is we begin with the end in mind. We begin with the end in mind. And so for me, I always have to ask that question before I sit down at ChatGPT and ask it to give me some content ideas for the week or for the month. I'm always asking, okay, what's the goal here? What is the trajectory that we're on here? And if it's an offer that we're focused on, we make content centered around that offer. If it's where we see some pain that's happening in the industry, we make content around that pain. So I always have to look at where are we? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to accomplish? And then what do we need to say? What is our messaging? Right. I think at the crux of that is I know we'll get into this in a minute. I don't want to jump ahead, but I know that at the crux of that is your story, right? It's like being able to uh, help people identify with who you are, what you do, and what you're the expert at, and why you're good at it. And I think keeping that in front of people, not just pushing, "Hey, buy this thing," but also saying, "This is who we are, and this is the problem we solve."
Mm-hmm.
Um, but more so, this is who we are. Because if we can get if you're a stranger and you don't know who we are, and we're trying to convert you from a regular consumer to an actual customer, then the alignment of the people we serve, we already have to know who that is. And so that's what I begin with when it pertains to the content. I look at, okay, who am I speaking to? Who am I talking to?
Yeah,
And what do I want them to know? Right. And then how do I want them to engage? And then how do I want them to respond? And so those are the things that I start with before I even cut a camera on. It's like, okay, what's the goal here? What are we doing? Yeah.
I love
Sorry
that.
to make that such a long answer, but yeah, that's how I start.
Well, no, it's so true. We back into it as well. We say, you know, what do we want them to feel? So,
Mm,
so one client, it's lakefront, mountains, exhilarating, go-karts, zip lines, adventure, right? We want you to feel that. Another customer might be, I need to slow down. I've been working too hard. I want to hit the
mm,
spa. I want to lay by the pool. I want to see the
mm,
water, or I want to go fly fishing out in the mountains, and I want to relax and I want to connect with nature. And like those
yeah,
are those how I want to feel. So then it becomes like getting someone to an emotional state on a website is a pretty hard thing to do, right? So it's
yeah.
like, how do we then we broke out of video and went into audio now. So
Mm,
upcoming, right before high tech, we're going to roll out an audio feature. So we've got a bunch of clients in the camping segment and glamping, camping, and that's something interesting because there's always noises in the woods. And so
yeah.
imagine you hover over an image and you can
Ooh.
hear the birds chirping, the stream, the babbling brook. You can
Yeah,
hear, the fire crackling with a nice little light acoustic guitar. Like we
Mm,
want you to feel like you're already there.
mm-hmm,
Is
mm-hmm.
so it's interesting because we're delivering it, but you're out there taking it, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
you're the one you're the one capturing the essence of everything, and then Hover kind of delivers it.
You said something, man. Oh man, thank you for saying this. You said feeling. You said feel. How do we want them to feel? When I think about what we do here at G1 Productions, visual storytelling, we're creating music that pulls on the heartstrings. We're creating, experiences where people feel like they're already there.
Mhm.
That is the greatest. That to me, that is the greatest benefit we can deliver to customers is how you feel, right? When you watch that piece of content, when you see that image, when you hear that audio with the fireplace crackling, you know what I mean? Like, I love ASMR, so it's a really weird industry, but I just know that when you mix that audio with video, you're already giving people a feeling like they're the even the vibration in your body, right? Like even what you resonate with is just like, man, when I'm experiencing this visual, this video, I'm captivated, right? And
Yeah,
I'm not only captivated by what I see, but what I hear, and that
yeah.
makes me feel like I need to be there, I want to be there, or I am there. So I think that's a huge benefit to our clients and the people that they serve as well.
Yeah, like think about it. So my birthday is June 23rd. It's coming up. A lot of people are like, what are you doing for your birthday? My wife, we usually birthdays are a big deal in our house. So we usually travel or go somewhere. Even our kids now either come with us or for their birthdays. It's like, hey, you want to do a day trip? And so people are asking us questions. Where do you want
Mm,
to go? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And we're answering those questions. But what our brain is really trying to figure out is how do we want to feel based on everything that's going on in our
yes.
lives?
Yeah.
And that's why they'll go home, they'll have a family reunion. They want to feel connected. They want to
Mm,
you want to feel empowered. You want to feel, relaxed. You need to take a couple steps back and I want to reflect. And so that's really the question that
that's
we're
good.
asking ourselves. We're asking it subconsciously, right? But it's like it's not where do I want to go or what do I want to do? It's how do I want to feel? And then the place and the activities just facilitate that feeling.
Correct. Correct. No, I think it's important to for clients and customers, specifically in the hospitality industry, to ask that question when they are doing content. I think it's super important to say, how do we want our customers to feel? Right? Even if they polled and did a survey to their customers, asking them, how do you want to feel when you
Mhm.
visit our property? Right? When I think about some of the properties and the hotels that I've been able to work with, I've been blessed to work with. When I think about their amenities and their features, when I'm traveling, I'd like to say, man, I want to go somewhere where I can like let my hair down. I want to go somewhere where I can party.
Yeah.
Or I want to go somewhere where I can, feel like work is not even an option, right? Like I want to go somewhere where I can disconnect, glamping, if you will. It's like nothing out there. Uh, I think that is the question that all brands should lead with when they begin to start to strategize, when they begin to start planning their content, because that is a question that I think is overlooked sometimes. I think it's about, here's our food and how here's the drinks and you know what I mean. Here's our nice
Oh.
aerial drone shots and footage. It's like okay, great, but do customers get a feeling from that, or are you? Is it just you just showing the fancy things here? It's like no, like tell us about that spa that you've built, right? Tell us about the origins of the wall and like when people see this wall art, like what is that? You know what I mean? Like when people come into the space, the lighting, the ambiance, when you how you gonna feel when you come into that space. I think that is that is the most important question that brands could ask is how do we want our customers to feel? Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was going to grad school, I had this great professor, and it was a class called strategic market planning, but it was a
Mm,
marketing class. And he was like, "Hey, listen, there's no marketing department anymore." He's like, "Marketing is every single touch point that you could possibly have, and
mm,
they add on each other. And if
mm,
done right, they add successfully. They don't zigzag." That
yeah.
was that was off brand. This is on brand. That was a little strange. And it's how you're greeted by a bellman. It's
Mm,
how quickly you can get to check in.
mm,
It's if you're offered a welcome cocktail. It's the key card holder. It's the technology in the room. Every single touch point adds to this feeling.
yeah,
And so when they add on, you can be in a place, 30 minutes and go, I'm pretty satisfied. This is
yeah,
exactly how I wanted to feel,
yeah.
if done right. And the entire experience could be curated like that.
Mm,
Trained people trained. Hey, this is what we're projecting. I don't think a lot of people that we encounter. So there are some, but I don't think everyone understands this is how we're talking to the client on social media. And
mm,
then when they come to our site, there's continuity, same messaging, same imagery. Then we're converting. Booking engine matches website perfectly, right?
yeah,
Then the email communication. Then you go into now we're arriving, right? Day of text message. Hey, here's what's happening this week. Wow, the communication is really good. And if that breaks in the in-person experience, that's a letdown.
yeah,
Right. But
yeah,
if it continues to add, those are the 5-star moments. It's like when people go, every aspect of this experience was really delightful.
yeah, yeah. Man, so good, so good. Jason, I wanna give you a plug here. Uh, your podcast name is Moments That Matter,
Mm.
and when I think about when I think about hospitality, I don't think about a building. I don't think about a brand. Even I don't think about what what nice drone aerial shot do I see from this hotel that makes me want to be there. When I think about moments that matter and I think about hospitality, I think about the people, right? Because when people visit these properties, when people visit your hotel, your resort, your wet bar, whatever it might be, you're creating moments that matter. You're literally curating moments that matter when you invite people into your space and when people see, on your website, when they can hear the story, when they can see what the brand actually is, when they can actually connect to you as a brand, right? Because hospitality is about people. We focus on the moments that matter. We have to create moments that matter in your business at Hover and my business. Like we have to create moments that matter because that is what brings back the loyalty. That is what brings those returning customers. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, to me, that's the experience, right? What are those moments that matter to the customer when they came to your property? And I wanted to plug that because I think your podcast has such a cool that's just such a name, and I think it's a very very versatile name for the industry we're in, man. And I think that people should focus on customers and essentially clients should focus on the moments that matter to their customers.
Man, really
Hmm.
appreciate that.
Hmm.
We thought long and hard about the name, and what we found was when we were talking to customers, we were asking them like, okay, why do people stay here? Like, what are the moments
Hmm.
that matter to them? But I appreciate the shout out, and that means that every time someone gives us a shout out, we have a $25 donation to. No, I'm just kidding, man. There's no donation coming. But no, that it is true. And we took it a step further. Like even when we deliver video, these are moments
Mm,
that the brand is having
mm,
with the prospect
mhm,
that normally wouldn't happen. And so we call each of the elements, the video elements. So we have different feature types like anchors, pins, pathways,
mm,
fill, but each of them are called moments on our
mm.
site. So when we describe, let's say you have 30 videos, we actually say you have 30 moments on your page because those are
Wow.
moments. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
The whole
That's
brand almost
incredible.
was actually named Moment,
Really?
which is, yeah, it was either Hover or Moment. And so we could very well have the company called Moment right now because it was about having these moments with your customers. And
Yeah.
and they're your moments to have. It's in a channel you own with your messaging, and you
Yeah.
get to show them what you're all about.
That's good. That's good. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, I appreciate that.
I love the name. I think to me, a sub brand would be Moment, obviously, for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's really cool. And when I visited your site, yesterday, and I just kind of looked at it and just seeing what you guys were doing, man. Like, I think you are leading the way for those moments. I think you're leading the way for those experiences. And more people should know about what you guys do and how you do it and why you do it. Because if they understood that that is the crux of any of our businesses, is creating those moments that matter and why people actually come to experience you. I think more people would be inclined to lean into Hover and say, hey, I want my moment, showcased on the site. So I mean, it's amazing at what you guys are doing, and I'm impressed for sure. As a consumer myself, I'm impressed.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And after meeting you, seeing the work that you're doing with mutual customers, man, we'd love to collaborate. And so I know we already have a meeting on the schedule to do that. For those who have enjoyed this conversation, have enjoyed what you do, want to learn a little more information, how can they see your work, find out more about you, and potentially get in touch with you?
Sure. So Instagram is my place of residence right now. You can follow my personal Instagram, Ahmod Goins, AHMODGOINS_. I got to go clear out my old page because it has my real name without an underscore. So once I do that, I'll get it. But yeah, follow me on my personal Instagram, Ahmod Goins_. And then you can also follow the G1 Productions page. That's G_ONE Productions. And reach out to me there. We are working on a G1 Productions website, but right now I'm focusing on the personal brand and just kind of fueling everything through that. And then if you want to just, email me, you can email me at info@G1productions.net. And so that's where you can find me at. That's where I'll be at, hanging at. And LinkedIn also, we love LinkedIn, right? Professional, Ahmod Goins, first and last name. You can find me on LinkedIn. So I live there as well. So you'll be seeing some content and some cool things coming down the pipeline as well.
Awesome. Well, and we have a fantastic production crew that is Blueform Media as well. So we'll ask them to put the links, put the names to all of those socials in the descriptions when we send this out.
Nice.
Thank you so much for spending the time, and thank you, the listeners, once again for tuning in to the Moments That Matter podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, please like or subscribe so that you can hear the latest and greatest. Thanks so much, and have a great day.